I can't begin to tell you all the things I've learned and all the adventures I've had in the past 6 months. I've seen the crippled walk. I've seen someone with a lifelong back problem have all the pain leave and their back completely restored to its proper form. I've seen dozens of high schoolers come to Christ and even more get physically healed, and many of those weren't even Christian. And all in a first world country. I don't know why, but I assumed that I had to wait till I was in a slum in Asia or a tribe in Africa to see the lame walk and the blind see. I thought casting out demons was only in a horror movie and that spiritual warfare was never physical. I thought wrong. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad because I waited to come to Australia before having unbelievable adventures. I depended on church leaders to get me to that spot where I was ready to be a part of miracles. I didn't realize that miracles happen no matter if you're ready or not. It doesn't matter where you are or what your title is, whether your name is pastor, youth pastor, worship leader, prayer warrior, or the simple church attendant. God can and will use all of us to do big things. And when I say big, I mean big. I've seen it all. I've been a part of it all. And the best part is, it was the doubters who healed bad backs and broken bones and huge gashes. It was 2-month-old Christians that cast out demons and boldly fought in spiritual warfare. It was the 18-year-olds who spoke in tongues and prophesied. When I read in Matthew 17:20, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you can move mountains and nothing will be impossible for you. I used to get discouraged. I used to think that faith was hard to get, that it was hard to achieve because I can't move mountains, so I must not have any faith. But now I know. Now I understand. Jesus didn't mean that faith was hard to gain or that we had to muster up a lot of it. Instead, it actually doesn't take much to be a part of a miracle. Maybe God is craving for us to take part in the impossible with Him, more than we ever desired to do it ourselves. If someone were to ask me, "What have you learned on DTS so far?" I would say this: God wants us more than anything else in the world. He craves a relationship with us. He longingly desires us to speak with Him more than we could ever want Him to speak to us. But most importantly, I've learned this: God never has small plans because He's not small. We are all destined for big things, that no matter where you're at on your life timeline, He will always have big plans at your doorstep, because God will never take His promise of life away from you. It never passes. No matter how many mistakes we have made or how far we have deviated from the course God has given us, we will always have a horizon. We will always have a future. And I don't want you to think that stupid lines some pastors use about saying that stacking chairs after church is as important as giving the sermon. No, I mean that God has a mega craving for you to heal the sick, for you to speak in tongues, for you to convert the lost, and for you to actually live life. It's all of us that can do incredible things. And that's my special prayer for all of you, that maybe, just maybe, one day it would be you sharing about your mission trips, that it would be the old side by side with the youth evangelizing. Could it be? Could it be that one day we would produce the miracle stories? That one day, perhaps very soon, a headline would read, "Light from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, instead of darkness from Iran and Iraq? Could it be that God wants to do even more in our time with our generations, old, middle, and youth, than He has ever done in history? Is it possible to heal Cedar Rapids? Is it possible to bring every single soul in Lynn County to Christ? Is it possible for St. Mark's, or whatever church you go to be incredibly parallel to the first church? Is it possible to actually do what Jesus taught us? To answer what Christ called out to Christian, will you go? Well, I guess the answer to that question is one of two words. God has been calling us since our birth, but it's up for you to decide. And when God calls you, you will have to say one of two words, because no theologian, no Bible college graduate, no pastor, pope, or saint knows the answer to that question. Only you do, because only you get to decide how you will answer His call. So what will you say? No or yes?